Hey everybody, it is Sunday, July the 2nd, and I can't believe July is here already. The summer is in full swing, and I'm looking forward to still continuing our Sunday night chats, our product chats on Zoom each week. We learn so much, and we have a great variety of things that we talk about. Last week, what we talked about was sleep. And I did record it. So if you missed it, you'll want to, or if you wanted to take some notes on it and that sort of thing, you'll want to look on Everyday Essentials with Team Voltage, which is our user group, and rewatch that presentation. I will try to, I told you I would be posting my PowerPoint. I've had some computer issues this week, so as soon as that is resolved, I will post my PowerPoint, and I will add some of this. I will add more slides to it with some of the recipes and recommendations that I make tonight. Last week was a case for why we sleep, specifically what goes on in our 24-hour circadian rhythms and what goes on in our brain functions and in our bodily functions during that time of sleep. So it's great information that we learned last year at convention from Dr. Russell Foster. Before I go into the specific things that I'm going to talk about sleep tonight, specific oil recommendations, I want to remind you that this is July and the mud mask, the detoxing mud mask, is 10% off. A lot of us used it when we were in Orlando a couple weeks ago and did some detoxing of our face. Some people even detox their armpits with it. There's a lot of good uses for it. It can draw out pimples, things like that. So if you don't have this spa product, I highly recommend that you put it on your order for this month. Also, 125 PV order between now and the 15th of July will get you a 5 ml bottle, a free bottle of Breathe. And we will talk about Breathe tonight too. So tonight I'm hoping to give you a lot of practical things that you can use to help you with sleep. When we teach our classes on our Introduction to Essential Oil classes, one of the things that we talk about is that wellness pyramid. And at the bottom is eating right and exercise. The very next level item in a well lifestyle is stress management and rest. And that is a big issue that so many people talk to us about. And so that's why I wanted to spend a couple weeks talking about this. We have done this before, but it's worth coming back to and reviewing on a regular basis. So I reached out to a couple of people to find out from them what were some of their recommendations, maybe what they used personally or what they would recommend that you guys use for sleep. Because last week, I only talked about two products. I talked about the Serenity Complex and the Serenity Restful Blend, only those two items. Tonight, I'm going to go beyond that. So I found that Dr. David Hill, one of the owners and the chief medical advisor for doTERRA, he suggests cedarwood on your feet for a deep sleep. And you'll probably want to take a lot of notes tonight or go back and watch the recording later and write lots of this thing down. Our diamond, Lois Lane, I asked her, and she said she loves the Serenity caps. She uses those, vetiver, and wild orange. And then for the diffuser, what she uses is juniper berry, bergamot, vetiver, and eucalyptus. And the way she does that is she puts 2 drops of juniper berry and bergamot and vetiver in, and 1 drop of eucalyptus. And that's her nighttime diffuser blend. It sounds fabulous. I keep juniper berry next to my side of the bed. I put it around my ears at night because it helps with the ringing in my ears. But I love the aroma of that, and just reading that kind of brings certain sense to my mind. Now, a friend of mine, Randy Stolt, he said, I know that Randy has suffered with a lot of sleeping issues. So I reached out to him and I said, do you have some recommendations for the group? And what he said was, vetiver is my friend. He said, it's really the main thing that has helped him. And the blends and the single oils, not as much as the vetiver has. But he said to recommend to you lavender and serenity, and to mix these up, the serenity, the lavender, the vetiver, mix and match until you find what works for you. And he also said, turn off your phones a bit before bed, because this has helped him so much to get away from the electronic media a good time before bed. And that's some of the sleep hygiene that we talked about last week. Randy makes a really good point in that mixing and matching and finding out what works for you. When the restful blend, the restful complex came out, the Serenity Complex came out, everybody was taking it. And I didn't start taking it because I sleep well, because I've really worked through it over a period of time to get down a routine that really works for me. And so I didn't feel like I need it. Now, my husband takes it every night, and a lot of people I know use that as part of their routine. But for me, I don't need it because I have an oil routine that works. Dr. Corey Campbell said she posted that she is sharing her restful sleep diffuser blend. And she uses 2 drops of vetiver, and she said that calms her busy body brain. And then she uses 2 drops of cedarwood, which relaxes her busy mind. 1 drop of peace, that's a blend, and that helps her with her inner calm. And then 1 drop of forgive, because she said she needs to help forgive herself for everything she didn't get done that day. And if any of you know Dr. Corey Campbell, you're laughing right now, because you can say that is an exact perfect match for her. And then in January, Jackie Pellegrini, and I don't know if Jackie's on the call tonight, a lot of times she is, but Jackie posted this that I thought was great. She said, I had to share this. My son was afraid to go to sleep tonight, claiming that he'd had a bad dream. This was his new excuse for trying to sleep in our bed. I got smart, and it happily backfired on him. I told him that I have an oil spray to help him with his dreams. I told him that it's called Sweet Dreams. I went and I got the spray bottle from the top of my dryer, which happened to have lavender in it, and I gave it to him. With a big smile, he sprayed his pillow, his bed, his dresser, the air, etc. You get the picture. And within 15 minutes, he was asleep. So I have seen this posted by other people, that if children are having some sleep issues, that you make up a specific blend for them that you give a catchy name to, like Monsters Be Gone. Like if there's a child that says, I'm just, there's a monster under my bed, and you spray it under the bed, and it has lavender and distilled water in it. And it's giving those restful, soothing properties, but at the same time, it's empowering them that they feel like they can do something for themselves at bedtime. Sometimes you could call it a sleepy time spray. Now, I'm pretty sure Natalie's on here. Natalie, hey, I see her at the top of her head and she's waving. Natalie told me a few weeks ago that the more outrageous she is about the names that she calls blends, the more effective they are for her coworkers and other people that she is selling oils to. And so I loved that idea. And we're going to have to get her to share some of the names of those with us sometimes, but that's for another night. I really think that when people say that they have an issue sleeping, or when you or your family members have issues with rest or sleeplessness, the first thing that you should do is you should try to diagnose what is the root issue, because there's so many things that you can use that are specific to an issue that you're having. And because I'm going to go over a lot of them, I'm not going in depth on them. So what I'd like you to do is, if something rings true to you and it sounds like, oh yes, that's probably my issue, then I'd like you to research that oil or that issue even more, so that you can kind of fine tune and figure out what works best for you. I wrote down a few things that might keep you from sleep. One is if you're hot. Dr. Foster talks about keeping the room very cool. But if you're like me and you're very hot-natured, you might want to do what I do. And I keep a spray bottle of peppermint. This is an 8-ounce spray bottle. I put about 10 drops of peppermint in it. I shake it, and I spray myself down when I'm getting changed and ready for bed at night, so that my body's already cool before I get in the bed. because I don't have to lay there very long, and I'm like an inferno, and I'm heating it all up. So do things to cool your body down that will help you to stay asleep. I do sleep with 2 fans also. If you're having hot flashes, that's different than just naturally being hot. Then what you might want to do is use a couple of swipes, a swipe on the bottom of each foot of Clary Calm. And that's our women's monthly blend, but it can settle those hormones down so that you're not having hot flashes all the time. Lisa gave me that years ago when I was really struggling with this issue, and it helped so much because hot flashes will wake you up in the night. And that's a terrible feeling. Also, taking Lifelong Vitality for me settled me down hormonally and helped me with the hot flashes dramatically. So I'm still hot natured, which is different, but I'm not having the hot flashes all the time like I used to. Okay, another one is snoring. Y'all know that's a big issue in our house. Art's a light sleeper and I'm a big snorer. So for that, if that's what's keeping you up, it might be because you're snoring and waking yourself up, or it could be that somebody that's sleeping in the room with you is snoring and keeping you up. Then breathe is your friend. And the way that I use breathe is I put it around my nose, kind of like a breathe right strip. I put a little under my nostrils right here, on my chin and on my chest. And what that does is it opens me up enough to where I'm not making all that noise all night long. And I can sleep better, and Art can sleep better too. Another thing that you can use if you've got respiratory issues going on at night that are keeping you awake is you can use the Breathe Stick. I know Stan uses that. He loves the Breathe Stick. You can use lime, you can use eucalyptus, and you can use these topically, but you could also use them in a diffuser. Mind racing. My mind often races at night. And prior to being more healthy and using oils like I did now, I took a medication at night to help me settle down, help me with nighttime anxiety and settling down, and help me from my mind racing in order to sleep. And I haven't had that medicine in years now, so I'm glad to not be on it. But a couple of the things that I use for that is vetiver, which is a root, and cedarwood. And I apply them to my big toe, right onto my big toe, because if you look at a reflexology chart, the thumb or the big toe represents the mind. So you're settling the mind, you're applying it right in that area, massaging it right in and applying it there. For falling asleep, I still think lavender and serenity are probably some of the best for those, and using those either in a diffuser and or topically. Some people, just lavender alone will do it. They'll make a pillow spray and spray it on their linens, their pillows. They'll put a little on the bottom of their feet and it just knocks them right out. For me, I need a little something stronger. So I use a Serenity, which has more oils in it besides just the lavender. And we talked about that last week. I also use I'm not sure if it's going to show up. This is a perfume recipe that was in some of the recipes that I found, and it's called Bliss. So in the Bliss, it has 4 drops. Let me see, I've got it written down here. 4 drops of vetiver, I have it written on the top, 2 drops of ginger, and 4 drops of grapefruit. While I like the smell of it, vetivers are very kind of manly smell. It's used a lot in men's colognes, but the combination of the grapefruit, the ginger, and the vetiver, to me, I just love the smell of it. But mostly I like the way it makes me feel. So before bed, I keep this in my chair in the living room next to in the den where I sit all the time, but I also keep one next to my bed. And so about an hour before I go to bed, I take it out. I just mix it with lotion, and I put it right on my wrist and my arms, a little on the back of my neck. So that's starting to settle me down even before I'm going to bed to get ready for bed at night. So that recipe is called Bliss. It's actually, the recipe calls for it to be in a roller bottle, but I use it in the unscented lotion. Oh, the time is getting away and I got a lot of notes. Okay, if pain is your issue, before Art and I started taking Lifelong Vitality and getting more healthy, we had a lot of pain that would keep us up at night. So we took a lot of over-the-counter pain medication. So if that's your case, these are a few of the oils I would recommend. The Aroma Touch massage blend. It's very calming and very soothing to your muscles and joints. Deep blue, of course, would be great to use at night before bedtime. Of course, Lifelong Vitality, but I don't use Lifelong Vitality too late in the day because it gives me a lot of energy. So I take both of my doses. I take one at breakfast and one at lunchtime. Art's okay. It doesn't keep him up. So he takes one at lunch, one at supper time. But Lifelong Vitality really helps that overall easing of your inflammation and your joints and stuff like that. So if pain is an issue, keep that in mind. Deep Blue Complex is not deep blue in oil in a capsule. This is a different set of herbs that is used to help with pain, and that is a great thing to use. Marjoram is also excellent. Now, some people are kept up at night because of cramps in their feet and legs or restless legs, things that are painful to them or troublesome to them. Also deep blue for that, but I like using lemongrass. Like if I have been walking a lot and the front of my legs are hurting like shin splints, I'll put lemongrass and frankincense on the front of my legs, like on my shins, and it really helps with the pain, and that will help you from being bothersome to you in the night. And also taking the bone nutrient is real good for that as well. Now, anxiety. Anxiety keeps a lot of people up at night because sometimes it kicks in the evening when you're not busy with your everyday activities. So what I recommend for that is the Peace Blend, which is part of our emotional aromatherapy kit, and I will tell you what's in that in a minute. Serenity, citrus oils, and I highly recommend the Aroma Touch technique. The Aroma Touch technique is 8 oils that are applied to your spine and your feet. We can talk about that another time, the details about that, but the Aroma Touch technique will really get your body in your whole central nervous system and your body in a better state. And so my son used to have a lot of nighttime anxiety. So I would do the Aroma Touch technique on him and he would fall right asleep. And falling to sleep in the evening was very difficult for him. So that would be something that you might want to have about once a week or once every week or at least once a month if sleep is an issue for you. Now, what if it's your tummy? What if your stomach is what's keeping you up at night? Then I recommend that you use the digestion oil, maybe a little fennel if you've got indigestion or heartburn, but don't eat too late. And another thing you can use is the Terrazyme. The Terrazyme is a digestive enzyme. And so sometimes if I've eaten later than I normally would, like I take these at every meal to help my food digest better. But if I've eaten later and I feel like my body is still digesting, I'll take another one of these before I go to bed, 1 or 2 before I go to bed. And that really helps process that food in the gut rather than it keeping me awake. Babies, if they're colicky, really, really, really dilute the oil or diffuse for them. You could use cardamom, fennel, orange, a little lavender, that sort of thing can be used for them. Now, let me quickly go to the next page. It's 9:20. In the Peace Blend, I mentioned that Jennifer Gilman is the one that taught me this. She uses it at night. It's great for diffusing, but also to use topically. But let's look at what's in the Peace Blend. And you're going to have, we talked about almost all of those tonight, and they're already in this one bottle already. Vetiver, lavender, ylang ylang, frankincense, clary sage, marjoram, and spearmint are the oils that are in the Peace Blend. So it's no wonder that it's good for calming you during the day, but also helping you sleep at night. Lavender and bergamot are rich in linalool and linalool acetate, which these are compounds that are really known for their relaxing properties. And so that's why diffusing them or using them at night topically will help provide you a peaceful environment and help calm your nervous system so that it will promote better relaxation and lead to restful sleep. Also, you can put lavender or bergamot into like herbal tea or into a veggie cap and take it internally. It's good to use it about 30 minutes before you go to bed, or you can put a couple of drops of lavender in your in a veggie cap and take it internally like about 2 hours before you go to bed too. Now, a few more blends that I have for you. Some of you have done Oil Camp 1 and learned all kinds of things about lavender, and there's an Oil Camp 2. In Oil Camp 2, there's a recipe for a sleep spray. Julie asked me about this last week, and I promised her that I would have it for you guys. This sleep spray, you mix in a 1 ounce spray bottle, 15 drops of Serenity, 10 drops of bergamot, 10 drops of petitgrain, and 7 drops of spikenard. You mix it into a half of an ounce of Epsom salt, and then you add it to a 1 ounce spray bottle, and then the rest of it you put in distilled water. You can spray your pillow, your back, your bedding. I actually spray my feet with it. And the reason I use it on my feet, and it is very effective for me, the reason I use it on my feet is the spikenard and the petitgrain are kind of a bitter, sour smell to me. I haven't gotten used to them yet. Like when I first got vetiver, it was like, I am never using this because of the smell of it. Now I put it on my wrist and I sniff it, sniff it, sniff it. I love it. But I like the properties of the petitgrain and the spikenard, but I haven't gotten used to the aroma of them yet. So that's why I don't put this on my pillow. I put it like down on my feet. And I actually took the same recipe, I halved it and put it in a roller bottle with fractionated coconut oil so I can roll it on my feet also. Lots of other, I have like 6 more pages of notes of diffuser blends and things that I came up with when I was researching. One of them for Sweet Dreams is 3 drops of Serenity and 2 drops of Wild Orange. Just reading that sounds so yummy to me. A hibernation blend. This would be something that you would put in a roller bottle and use on your feet. It has 10 drops of Roman chamomile. This is for a 5 ml roller bottle. 10 drops of Roman chamomile, 10 drops of frankincense, 10 bergamot, and 10 vetiver. And the rest is fractionated coconut oil. That's a pretty powerful blend. So I love that combination, but I would say if sleep is an issue, go with something heavy duty like that. And as I said, you can always half that and half the amount of coconut oil. And if that does the trick, then go ahead and use that dilution. And then, but if it doesn't, then you can add a few more of those oils to it. Sleepy Time blend that I've made a lot has 15 drops of Roman chamomile, 20 drops of bergamot, and 25 drops of frankincense. So it's similar to this, but it doesn't have the vetiver in it, and filled with fractionated coconut oil. And that is for a 10 ml bottle. For children, you only use a tiny bit of oil. And so I have 3 pages of recipes for blends for kids for sleeping, but I need to stop because I'm 5 minutes over. If you guys want to unmute yourselves and share anything with the group, we would love to have some feedback. I know Sherry doesn't sleep much.
Will you be able to post some of those blends? Because
I sure will. I definitely will.
I think a lot of us are interested in them.
I will. I'll actually take photos of some of them that I have written out and post them. I'll post this recording, and then in the comments, I'll post some of those blends.
That's awesome.
Those will be for your own use, not to share on social media. Of course, you can share them with other people, but not in a public forum, because I have used words like sleep instead of just rest and things like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I hope all of you sleep really well now, that you'll pick 1 or 2 things. Do not try to conquer every issue that you have at one time. You pick 1 or 2 things and you work on it, and you mix and match, you trial and error until you find the natural remedy that's going to help you. And you can always post questions to Everyday Essentials, and this oil community is really great about helping out and giving suggestions. So you guys have a great week. Get your mud mask out, get your breathe out, your Serenity and vetiver, and I'll see you next week.